Hey dudes, so today I'm finally answering the questions from my QnA video. But before that, package arrived. I bought a mask from Kryptonite. So first, I'm gonna unbox this. Freebie, oh my gosh. Freebies, can you, okay, wait. Oh, it has a magnetic tongue. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look, it's a little bracelet with bones. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. It's a little paw keychain. That's so cute. Oh my gosh. Then there's a few stickers. Thank you so much. I love getting freebies. Ready? Oh my gosh, look at that. It's a husky. Oh my gosh, it's a husky. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. Oh, this is so cool. Hold on, where's the tongue? I love it so much. Okay. Oh, I love it so much. Thank you. Y'all should go support them. Next part of the video, the part that I was planning. I want to say this first. Everybody who, left comments for me, left questions, thank you so much for that. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Go check them all out. I'm going to leave their tags in the video description so that way you can go subscribe to them if you haven't already. Foxy Moron says, my favorite question for creators is, what inspires you to post content? For me personally, I just like the thought of being able to spread kindness and inspire people to be themselves. I also do it because I want to use my channel and my knowledge of mental health issues to help people with their issues. Soupy Noodles says, firstly, if you're a Therian, what's your Theritype? Or if not, but you're still an Alter Human, what's your Alter types, Kith types, etc.? If you're not, what animal is your main mask? So, I am a Therian. My Theritypes are the entirety of the canine clade, which includes foxes, coyotes, dholes, and domestic cats. Not a specific breed, but not a hairless one. It is a furred domestic cat. And I'm questioning hyena clade, just because, they feel close enough to both what I feel from canine and what I feel from the domestic cat that it's hard to differentiate, and there's just so many things that I'm not going to talk about because it gets into a lot. And then I'm a fictionkin, which I just kind of discovered. I believe I'm Sal. I believe that's my fictotype. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong with that. I think that's who I am. Then I am other-hearted as well. My other heart types are binturong, raccoon, skunk, and opossum because, they're just, I don't know. I just feel really connected to binturongs, and, opossum, skunk, and raccoon, they're just, I just always loved those animals and really felt connected to them. Next, Soupy Noodle says, who inspires you the most? That's a hard question. I really don't know, because, there's so many popular creators on here that inspire me to be myself, and there's, people in my, personal life that also inspire me, but I think if I had to choose somebody, I would say Soda Tab, just because they were one of the first people that I saw was a Therian. They're one of the person that introduced me into the Therian community. And then they said favorite food, which is specifically this one dish, drunken noodles, from this Thai food place. Local restaurant, so I'm not gonna name anything. I don't want to accidentally dox myself. But I love that dish so much. Every time we go, that's the only thing I get. How did you awaken, if not a Therian? If a Therian, if not, when did you start mask making quads? So, I awakened in... it's a little complicated, because I discovered the community and awakened in 2024, the summer of 2024. Then I, had, imposter syndrome and was, thought I was faking it. And, I mean, at the time, I also didn't fully understand, so when I was still learning, I'm oh, never mind, that's not me. So then I didn't identify as a Therian. And then I kept doing research. My cat's here. I kept doing research and learned that I was a Therian. Then, favorite creators. This is a hard one. I love most, all of the Therian creators. I would say soupy noodles, not to be whatever, but I would say I love your masks. I love watching you make masks. I love Soda Tab, obviously. I love Opal. I love Forgetful Gecko. I love, like, I don't know, I just love everybody. I, like, love seeing the different kinds of people in the community, too. Next person. So, Pelican Essa says, what's your favorite color? But my favorite color is black. If you couldn't tell by my room, my walls are black. I'm currently wearing a bleached black shirt. I like black. It's like a pretty good color. My favorite snack is probably, I don't really snack too much. My favorite bird. I think my favorite, though, has to be the crow or raven, just because they're all really smart. I just really love them. Pelican Essa also asked my favorite season, but so did Fincetto, so I'll put both. They both asked my favorite season, which I'll say is probably fall, because it's just so pretty, and, like, in the summer it gets too hot, and I overheat pretty quickly because of my meds, and then in the winter it's kind of cold, and while I do like the cold, I like also being able to go outside not cold. My favorite food, once again, that specific dish from that Thai food restaurant. Then, Cozy Quiz says, if you could move to a different country, which would you choose? I would choose Switzerland, Germany, Norway, like that kind of area. Just because, I don't know, I like that area. They look pretty and stuff. Then Jax Ortober gives 2 questions. The first one, what are your favorite animal/creature out of all of them? That's a hard one because obviously I love cats. I love my stereotypes. But I also really, really love bears and raccoons and binturongs. It's really hard for me to choose a favorite. I think I gotta go with binturong just because they're just so cool. And then their question 2 is, if you have stuffed animals, what are they and one of their names? So I have a bunch. As you can see up here, back here, I just have so many stuffed animals. I'm just going to show you my S's, my emotional support stuffed animals, and their names. So firstly, I have Moose. I just recently got him. He's helping, I'm trying to train him to help me with social anxiety at school. Then we have Vesper, who is, I just got, I'm trying to train him to do social anxiety outside, like, not at school, outside the house. Then we have very old Big Dog. He helps with sleep. I use him as my pillow. Then we have Bear, who also helps with sleep. Big Dog and Bear I've had for my entire life. Bear was around before I was born. He was my brother's before mine. Then lastly, we have Bambi, who used to be for at school, but now he's just for sleep. Then Elliot Raccoon asks, what's my biggest hyperfixation right now? Currently, I don't think I have one at the moment. Growling Forest, Blue Star, and From the Calico asked about TADC. I do not watch that show. It is not the kind of show that, like, I'm interested in. I have nothing against it. It's just not my show. So they both asked just, like, have I watched it? If my favorite character. If I had to choose a favorite character, I would say Zooble, just because their character design is pretty cool. How they're, like, a conglomeration of different objects and shapes and colors. And no, I'm not gonna see episode 9 in theaters because, once again, I don't really watch TADC. Then, Hi, I Think I Exist, which I love your username, by the way. What's a song/character you relate to heavily? Sal Fisher, because, you know, that's my fiction type, yeah. But a song, gets to get a little morbid. I would say Mommy Friend by Penelope Scott. It's a little dark, so, like, yeah. Just, it, like, is uncomfortably close to a certain trauma that I went through in my life. Do you have an alter type that is more primary, main, affects you the most/is most notable? And if so, which, why, and how? I would say, the domestic cat. It's my, like, I would say main, as in, like, I mostly have, like, the kind of instincts and urges and, like, vocals and stuff of a cat mostly. I think the reason why is because I've just grown up around cats my entire life, where it's just kind of, like, absorbed into me, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. Possum Claus says, what mask of yours is my favorite? Most of my masks that I wear are not made by me, and I don't feel comfortable saying a favorite of ones that aren't made by me, because that just feels disrespectful. Of the ones that I made myself, I would have to say the opossum one, which is still for sale, just because it was the first mask I made that I was proud of and stuff. So yeah, the opossum. At Aaliyah Zebra, which they made one of my masks, asks, what is my favorite color? I said black earlier. Sorry, a few of these are repetitive. I tried to put them all together when I could, but it was hard. How did I start YouTube? In October, or September, I think it was, I discovered Theriantober or whatever, where it was like you, like, each day was something to do with your therianthropy, and I decided to post about that, and I actually gained views. What made you who you are? I would say, just like a lot of just my experiences. I think like my experiences in learning, and I think like, I don't know, it's like hard to talk about without sharing too much, because I don't want to like share too much about myself online, because I want to be safe. Then Linklin, I believe is how it's pronounced, says, I'm new, do you have a trio? I do not. Yeah, I don't really have moots, I think, yeah. Ara, are you LGBTQ? Yes, I am. I am trans mask, agender, I am a type of aro ace, and sexual, ego romantic, like that. And then they asked, are you dating anyone? I am not, because once again, aro ace, you know. Then, Faye or Phi the Floof says, thank you for tagging me. Will def boost. I'm not so great at asking questions, and you don't have to answer if you're uncomfy, but what was the strangest or most funny situation / interaction you've had with someone IRL or online while out gearing or just existing? Well, I would say probably when I was in school, when I wore cat ears and a tail, somebody yelled furry at me, and it made me laugh. But then Cannonballer says, how many Douglases do I have? I have 3 Douglas dogs. I have Bambi, he is a panda, but he is Douglas. I have an opossum that is Douglas. I have a spider that is Douglas, and I believe that's it. But Azai Pause says, when did you awaken as a Therian? I awakened summer of 2024. And what's your hobbies in free time? I'd say my hobbies are like, I guess mask making now, but like drawing. I don't know, I just kind of scroll YouTube. I'm kind of a boring person. What is my favorite show? I would say, I don't really watch TV shows too much. I would say South Park. Xenia Star says, what is your favorite color and what's your favorite animal? Kind of, once again, a little repetitive, but I'm sorry about that. But my favorite color is black, and my favorite animal is a binturong, like I said earlier. Robert Pyland, I think, asks, do I have an IKEA alien? I do not. I don't have an IKEA near us, I don't believe. I haven't been to an IKEA in, I believe, ever. Luna Lewis asks, how often do you go out? I am fortunate enough that with my family, we're able to go out for dinner like every Friday. Very lucky for that, but other than like grocery shopping, I don't really leave the house unless it's for school. At Starpaw asks, a really interesting one. Would you rather be super rich but only in coins, or have your dream job but you forget about it once you retire? This is a really interesting question, and I think I'd have to say my dream job. Silly Pewter says, what stereotype are you, and can you give me any tips for telling my parents I'm a Therian and go by they, them, and gender-neutral pronouns? My stereotypes are the canid clade, the domestic cat, and questioning hyena. I'm still like not 100% sure about that one. First and foremost, just make sure that whoever, like, your parents are okay with this. Like, don't tell them if it's gonna be dangerous for you. Like, make sure you are 100% safe. Make sure no matter what happens, like, make sure that if you tell them, you won't be, like, disowned, you won't be kicked out, like, nothing bad will happen, because that is the last thing you want to happen to you. And being a Therian is not something you necessarily have to tell anybody either. Like, I technically never told my parents I'm a Therian. My mom just kind of discovered through seeing my channel and stuff like that, but I don't know if she fully understands what it is, and we haven't had a talk about it. And but I understand that with the pronouns, it's a little more hard to conceal from people. So with that, I would just say, like, make sure, 100% sure, that they are okay with it, and then, like, wait until a situation where they aren't upset, like, they aren't stressed from getting home from work. Make sure, probably weekends are best if they're free. Make sure that they are, like, calm, they're happy, or, like, something, like, they're in a good mood, and then, like, ask them that you want to tell them something, like, just say you want to have a talk with them, and make sure they know that it is, like, genuinely, like, serious. You make sure that they know that it's a serious thing that you want to talk about, and that it's, like, bothers you that they may not use the right pronouns. And then from there, like, it's hard because if they accept you, then that's amazing, but if they don't use your correct pronouns, and I'm really sorry if that happens, but, like, it's hard to get your parents to accept you if they won't, like, if they don't right away. Like, I know it's hard for me to talk about because my parents do not always call me the right pronouns. They don't call me the right pronouns, and it's hard for them, and I understand that. And I would say if your parents are, like, if they're understanding, then maybe try correcting them if you have the confidence to do so. Only if they're understanding. If they are not understanding and they do not like it, do not correct them, because that'll only make things worse for you. That's really the only tips I can give, because, like, I don't know, I'm kind of in the same boat of trying to get my parents to use the correct pronouns. That was a little bit of a long rant, sorry about that. Next is The Silly Moth says, what does supporting something mean to you? As in, does it mean supporting everything someone does, or just them detached from their identities? So, in my opinion, supporting something means, like, that you are okay with it, you, like, accept them for that, and that you actively are trying to, like, help them. Supporting someone does not mean that if you support someone, don't have to support someone in everything they do. I support all transgender people because they are trans, whatever. I support them that they are trans, and I will defend them. But if a trans person does something bad, I will not support the bad action. I will support them as a trans person, but not the bad action. Not support the bad action that they did. Same thing goes with really anything. Just, like, I will support you for who you are, but not the things you do, unless you are genuinely a very terrible person. Then they ask, what is your favorite animal and why? Say binturong again, just because I just feel very connected to them. Yeah. Where do you see society in 2030? I think this is a very good question, and it's a very hard question to answer. I personally see, in a perfect world, I see that AI is no longer there, the world's countries probably not a war. World War III hopefully doesn't start. I see AI possibly being less used, like generative AI specifically. I see, like, in the best possible world, I see, like, people finally getting along, but in reality, I see just more of what's happening continuing to happen. I see more deforestation happening. I see countries continuing to conflict. I see more just people being bad people. Like, genuinely, that's just, as morbid as it is, it's just how I see the world. Unless, like, we genuinely are able to fix that, and I think that we all should try to fix that, but there's not a lot that people can do, because there's always going to be a group of people that do not want to get better. They do not want the countries to be, like, nice to each other. They don't want to stop deforestation. There's always going to be people who do not want the world to get better. Blot the Mime says, what's the cat's name? So I have 4 cats. I have Tiger, Sky, Frost, and Tiger. Frost is the mom. Frost is the mom of the 3 boys. This very cute story. Do you know how to make paper squishies? I do not. My dream Essa / do you know how to make gear? I don't know how to make gear for S's. I know how to make like Therian masks and tails, if that's what you mean by gear. But I do not know how to make gear for Essas. My dream Essa is probably the Douglas Deluxe Bernese Mountain Dog. I love those dogs so much. My favorite band, which Color Chemic also asked. My favorite band, I don't know if I have a favorite band. Like, I have a favorite band per genre, because it's hard to like have two bands of two different genres compete. My favorite like Riot Girl kind of music is Tipless. My favorite Midwest emo is probably the Front Bottoms or McCafferty. Like, it just depends on what genre. What is my favorite craft to make? I think masks, as painful as it is, because I'm impatient and I touch the hot glue and it hurts, but yeah. If you could meet any celebrity, who would you want to meet? Depends on your definition of celebrity. Like, there's a lot of like Therian creators that I would love to meet. But if that's not considered celebrity, then like genuinely, I don't think there is a celebrity that I want to meet. A lot of them are just not good people. Do you like Danny's World? No, I don't dislike it. I just don't have an opinion on it. I haven't played it. I don't plan to play it. I'm not really a big Roblox fan, so. What's my favorite animal/breed? Once again, been wrong. Sorry for the repetitive. What's your favorite show, game, or movie? My favorite show, we'll say, is South Park, like I said earlier. My favorite movie, I think, is Malignant. It's a horror movie. It's a really good movie if you're not like too squeamish. Not that it's like super gory, but like there are some scenes that are like little make me crawl a little bit, which is why I like it. And my favorite video game is probably The Sims. Just Caspian's Cavern says least favorite food. I would probably say anything spicy. I cannot handle spice. Beetleworms says, this is my favorite question I got asked. It's such a funny one. If you were a crayon, what flavor would you be? I would say mac and cheese. The mac and cheese crayon, I would be that. I love mac and cheese. I love the mac and cheese crayon. I don't know. And then I left all of the Lions questions for last because they asked some really good questions that I want to kind of talk on about because they're, good questions. They say, okay, a handful of questions about the Therian community and your opinions on it. Number 1, how do you feel about physical Therians? Are you of the opinion that they are ruining our community, or do you acknowledge that without them, the community will not have formed and so many people will not have the words to describe themselves? I agree with the last part. Like, I personally do not know how physical Therians experience their thing. I can't really tell them how or how not they're supposed to experience therianthropy. It's like a spectrum. It's different for everybody, so I can't really tell somebody that they aren't a valid Therian if just because they don't experience something the way I do. And yes, they did basically build the community. The first Therian meet, I believe, please take this with a bit of like skepticism because I could be getting this wrong, but I believe one of the first Therian meets was hosted by Holothers, which is people who identify as animals physically too. So yes, I do agree that like without them we probably would not be here. The community would not be as like big as it is. A lot of people would not know that they are Therians, and I think it's just rude to say that physical Therians are ruining their community because they're not. It's just like a different way of experiencing therianthropy. 2, opinions on the over-sexualization of AFAB Therians. What do you think causes it? Is it just the patriarchy doing its thing, or is it something else? I think that a lot of the over-sexualization of AFAB Therians and just people in general is just how social media for some reason is. It's just like, I agree, it is the patriarchy. I don't think there's anything in this community specifically that makes it worse. I think that it's just a lot of people grow up thinking that it's okay to sexualize women and AFAB people because of the way they dress, and I think that is a patriarchy issue and not necessarily a Therian community issue. It is every community issue because every community grew up with the patriarchy and people have to unlearn that, and it is hard, but it's possible, and I don't think it's like something in the community, but I think it's rather just society as a whole that has an issue with that. 3. How did you personally find this community? What led you to identify as a Therian? As a Therianthrope, sorry, I can't read my handwriting. I found this community through, I was a furry since 2020, and I guess just one day, I don't really remember, because it was like 2 years ago. I know that's not too long, but for me, memory-wise, that's like so long ago. I think I found like Soda Tab's videos, or like something. I'm pretty sure it was Soda Tab's videos. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I like these masks, and I associated masks with therianthropy, and then I learned that it wasn't that, and then I saw, like, I thought the masks were what therianthropy was, so I identified as a Therian, and then I realized it wasn't, so I didn't identify as a Therian, and then I realized what therianthropy was, and I realized I was a Therian because of, like, my experiences and my urges and, like, just instincts and just stuff like that. Like, I don't want to get into too much detail about, like, that stuff just because it's, like, personal. Yeah. Opinions on plant, time, objects, concept kins, and others who identify as non-human without identifying as an animal. Once again, I don't think I have the right to tell people how they can and can't experience their alter humanity. Like, if somebody says they identify as something, then they do, and I'll respect that. Like, alter humanity is such a large spectrum. People can identify as, like, whatever people think and say that they are. I'll respect it, really. Like, I can't, like, tell people that they can't identify as that. And, like, I personally don't have an issue with it, and I can understand why people do have an issue with it, because it's like, what do you mean you identify as a flower or something? I don't know. But, I can understand why people think it's weird. I can understand why, but I can also understand why people think therianthropy is weird. My other cat is here. It's just like, I can't really tell people that they can't identify with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not something that I personally experience, so I don't fully know how it works, and that's fine. Like, I don't have to understand how something works to support it. So, yeah. Anyway, this has been a very long video. I didn't think it would get this long. So apologies for that. But anyway, that's it. Bye, dudes.